Can you solve all these applied anthropology questions? The study of fossils?
Perfect. Paleontology is the correct choice. Study of human culture.
Great job. Anthropology is the accurate answer.
Archaeology is a brand of. Well done. Anthropology is the right choice.
It is the study of society.
Great thinking. Sociology is the right choice. Study of prehistoric fossils. Exactly. Paleontology makes sense.
Anthropology is the study of.
Excellent choice. Bones is the right answer.
Who is the father of anthropology? Sharp thinking. Good friends is the right choice.
It is the study of power struggle. Right choice. Political science is the best answer. Social anthropology is a branch of.
Right again. Anthropology is a valid answer.
How many types does anthropology has? Valid point. 4 is true. Anthropology has how many subfields? You got it? Your choice 5 is right. The study of human culture is known as.
Nice selection. Anthropology is the correct and valid answer.
What is the study of humankind called? Solid response. Anthropology is a valid choice.
Which is not a branch of anthropology.
Correct. Climatology is the right answer.
Who wrote archaeology as anthropology?
Nice work. You chose Lewis Binford, and it is correct.
Biological anthropology used to be called.
Clear logic. Your choice, physical anthropology, is sound. A decision reached after examining evidence. Smart move. Conclusion is an accurate answer. Use skeletal body remains for identification. You chose anthropology, and it is correct. How many branches of anthropology are there? Well picked. 4 is the correct answer. The process of replacing cartilage with bone. Strong choice. Ossification is the right answer. Which are the 4 subdivisions of anthropology? Correct response. Biological, cultural, linguistic, archaeology is the most accurate answer. Cultural bias in anthropology is described as.
Good job. Ethnocentrism works well here.
The term social anthropology was originated in. You're right. United Kingdom is the correct answer. It is a science that studies human civilization. Bravo, sociology is the answer. The word anthropos from anthropology means dash. Well reasoned. Human is the correct choice. Anthropology is the combination of the Greek words. Excellent. Anthropos and logos is a brilliant choice. The study of objects to learn about past human life. Smart pick. Archaeology is the correct choice. How long has Clemson offered a major in anthropology? Good thinking. 11 years is the right answer. It is the scientific study of human life and culture. Nicely done. Anthropology is a solid answer. Describes the similarities and differences in culture. On track, cultural anthropology is the correct answer. Economic anthropology is a main branch of anthropology. Exactly. False makes sense. It is the study of the origin of human and its culture. Sharp thinking. Anthropology is the right choice. The term anthropology came from which two Greek words? You got it. Your choice logos and anthros is right. What is the insider perspective called in anthropology? Correct response. Emek is the most accurate answer. This is the study of the origins of people and societies. Perfect. Anthropology is the correct choice. Application of entomology to civil and criminal legal cases. Great job. Forensic entomology is the accurate answer. It is often defined as who gets what, when, where and how. Bravo. Political science is the answer. In which branch of anthropology would genetics be studied? Excellent. Biological anthropology is a brilliant choice. What is not one of the primary four fields of anthropology? You chose business anthropology, and it is correct. The study of humans from a biological perspective is called. Right choice. Physical anthropology is the best answer. What is the systematic study of people and cultures known as? Excellent choice. Anthropology is the right answer. Study of humanity from a broad and biological perspective. Dash. On track. Anthropology is the correct answer. The physical record of a person's life as told by their bones. Good thinking. Osteobiography is the right answer. Studies the biological dimensions of humans and other primates. Well picked. Biological anthropology is the correct answer. It is the systematic study of society and social interactions. Smart pick. Sociology is the correct choice. One of the goals is to avoid conflict and promote cooperation. Valid point. Political science is true. What did Frank Cushing contribute to the world of anthropology?
Great thinking. Participant observation is the right choice. This is everything that a person learns as a member of a society.
Clear logic. Your choice culture is sound. Dash is one of the fields of study in sociocultural anthropology. Nice selection. Anthropology of symbols is the correct and valid answer. Shamanic practices are within the scope of cultural anthropology. Nice work. You chose not given, and it is correct. Dash is the study of human culture and how it develops over time. Solid response. Anthropology is a valid choice. Something that shows proof or an indication that something is true.
Strong choice. Evidence is the right answer.
It started as the study of non-European people by European people.
Correct. Political science is the right answer.
Dash is the study of the past by looking at what people left behind. Well reasoned. Archaeology is the correct choice. Which of the following is not a sub-branch of physical anthropology?
Good job. Ethnolinguistic works well here.
Which of these is most closely associated with cultural anthropology? Right again. Social sciences is a valid answer. Which of the following is not a major area in biological anthropology? Well done. Ethnology is the right choice. What is the study of human origins, evolution, and diversity known as? You're right. Anthropology is the correct answer. Ralph Piddington talked about some general aims in social anthropology. Smart move. False is an accurate answer. A class of individuals with similar physical characteristics are called.
Nicely done. Species is a solid answer.
Discipline of anthropology that deals with the study of human genetics.
Smart move. Biological physical anthropology is an accurate answer. Which of the following kinds of work would applied anthropology include? You got it. Your choice. All of the above is right. Investigation of past cultures through the excavation of materials remains. Good thinking. Archaeology is the right answer. Which of these is not included in the 4 main subfields of anthropology? You're right. Applied anthropology is the correct answer. It sees the commonalities among people. Well picked. Anthropology is the correct answer. Is enriched by contributions from various disciplines and goes beyond them. Sharp thinking. Anthropology is the right choice. Which of the following studies the remains and artifacts of ancient people? Bravo. Archaeology is the answer. Focused on the study remains in an attempt to describe the behavior of human. Valid point. Archaeological anthropology is true. Which field of anthropology studies the language structure of the Seminoles? Great thinking. Linguistic anthropology is the right choice. What subfield of anthropology focuses on studying and interpreting artifacts? Nice selection. Archaeology is the correct and valid answer. What is the scientific study of past human cultures and civilizations called? Perfect. Archaeology is the correct choice. Its goal is to keep social order and harmony among different groups of people. You chose political science, and it is correct. Is the study of human beings as a species and as members of different cultures. Smart pick. Anthropology is the correct choice. Studies the way of life of contemporary and historically recent human societies. Right again. Cultural anthropology is a valid answer. One of the aims of cultural anthropology is to gather information about nature. Nicely done. False is a solid answer. Which field of anthropology studies the symbols, laws, and values of a society? Good job. Cultural anthropology works well here.
What was the most common kind of anthropology in the late 1800s to early 1900s?
Well done. Salvage anthropology is the right choice.
The study of human societies and cultures and their development is known as dash.
Correct response. Anthropology is the most accurate answer.
Studies language in its social and cultural context across space and over time.
Strong choice. Linguistic anthropology is the right answer.
Which field of anthropology studies the artifacts of ancient Mayan civilizations? Excellent choice. Archaeology is the right answer. Looks into the biological development of humans and their contemporary variation. Great job. Physical anthropology is the accurate answer. It is the systematic study of political and government institutions and processes. Exactly. Political science makes sense. Which anthropology studied the Yanomami indigenous peoples in the Amazon rainforest? Nice work. You chose Napoleon Chagnon, and it is correct. Cultural anthropology studies the similarities and differences among societies. Solid response. Both of them is a valid choice. DNA found only in the mitochondria that is inherited through mothers, never fathers. On track. Mitochondrial DNA is the correct answer. Is a broad term, meaning the application of the study of insects to legal cases. Clear logic. Your choice forensic entomology is sound. What is the application of the techniques of biological anthropology to solve crimes? Well-reasoned. Forensic anthropology is the correct choice. What is the term for the study of human societies and cultures and their development? Right choice. Anthropology is the best answer. The field of science that would be involved in identifying skeletal remains is called. Correct. Forensic anthropology is the right answer. This theory believes that each society has its own particular historical development. Excellent. Historical particularism is a brilliant choice. It is the study of past human cultures through the recovery and analysis of artifacts. Sharp thinking. Archaeology is the right choice. The study of origin behavior, as well as the physical, social, and cultural development. Clear logic. Your choice anthropology is sound. Refers to the study of living people and their cultures, including variation and change. Good job. Cultural anthropology works well here. It includes the study of communications, origins, history, and contemporary variation. Valid point. Linguistic anthropology is true. This branch of anthropology looks at past cultures by studying their material remains. Solid response. Archaeology is a valid choice. Study of institutions, marriage, family, or processes such as change and social mobility. Great thinking. Sociology is the right choice. Studies the interrelationships between language and other aspects of a people's culture. You chose linguistics, and it is correct. Cultural anthropology asks whether human emotions are universal or culturally specific. Bravo, true is the answer. What is the branch of anthropology that studies the cultural aspects of human societies? Great job! Sociocultural anthropology is the accurate answer. Which subfield of anthropology focuses on the study of language and its role in society? Smart move. Linguistic anthropology is an accurate answer. Which field of anthropology studies how people in a society communicate with each other? Correct. Linguistic anthropology is the right answer.
The practical use of anthropological theories and methods outside the academic setting is.
Right again. Applied anthropology is a valid answer.
Uses anthropological perspectives, theory, and knowledge to solve real-world problems. Dash.
Well done. Applied anthropology is the right choice.
A branch of anthropology that focuses on the content and variation of particular cultures.
Excellent choice. Sociocultural anthropology is the right answer.
A distinguishing feature of anthropology is its approach to the study of human groups.
Good thinking. Holistic is the right answer.
Which of the following specialties did not emerge from the practice of applied anthropology?
Right choice. Cultural anthropology is the best answer. Discipline of anthropology that focuses on use of language in a particular time and society.
Perfect. Linguistic anthropology is the correct choice.
Which of the following studies culture from their belief systems, practices, and possessions?
On track. Cultural anthropology is the correct answer.
The study of physical anthropology, as it applies to human skeletal, remains in a legal setting.
Well reasoned. Forensic anthropology is the correct choice.
Emile Durkheim, Auguste Comte, Pierre Bourdieu, and Max Weber are the main representatives of Dash.
Well picked. Sociology is the correct answer.
Choose the most appropriate answer. Nowadays, social anthropology focuses a little bit more on.
Nice selection. Social systems is the correct and valid answer.
It studies the materials remains of humans, best known for the study of prehistoric cultures.
Exactly. Archaeology makes sense.
It is the study of humanity, including our prehistoric origins and contemporary human diversity.
Nicely done. Anthropology is a solid answer. It deals with the study of the nature of humanity, which also leads to examine our social role. Smart pick. Sociology is the correct choice.
Which subfield of anthropology examines the ways in which people use language to create meaning?
Strong choice. Linguistic anthropology is the right answer. Focuses on these special interest, human evolution as revealed by the fossils, human genetics, etc. Nice work. You chose biological anthropology, and it is correct. Promote to study of a society's culture through their belief systems, practices, and possessions. You got it. Your choice cultural anthropology is right.
The investigation of the marks on bone and their condition to uncover a potential cause of death.
Correct response. Skeletal trauma analysis is the most accurate answer. Which of the following studies biological development of humans and their contemporary variation? Excellent. Physical anthropology is a brilliant choice. One of the goals is to study the nature of humanity to further examine our roles within a society. You're right. Sociology is the correct answer.
What interdisciplinary study explores how language shapes communication and influences social life?
Great job. Linguistic anthropology is the accurate answer. What is the field of anthropology that explores the central role of language in human cultural life? Correct. Linguistic anthropology is the right answer. What is the study of how people in different cultures categorize and use plants for various purposes?
Great thinking. Ethnobotany is the right choice.
Which subfield of anthropology involves the collection and analysis of data on non-Western societies?
Excellent. Cultural anthropology is a brilliant choice. Which field of anthropology studies how goods and services are produced and distributed in a society?
Well done. Social anthropology is the right choice.
Which field of anthropology studies fossil remains to learn how human characteristics have developed?
Nice work. You chose physical anthropology, and it is correct. It reconstructs, describe, and interpret human behavior and cultural patterns through material remains. Exactly. Archaeological anthropology makes sense.
What is the study of how people in the past understood and used celestial objects for various purposes?
Perfect. Archaeoastronomy is the correct choice.
Which of the following types of cultural anthropology would be considered the least applied in its focus? Correct response. Ethnography is the most accurate answer. Anthropology, aimed very purposefully at practical results, is referred to as anthropology. Well picked. Applied is the correct answer. Which facial feature is the most distinguishing among the three main races in forensic anthropology? Sharp thinking. Prognathism tax objective 8.5 is the right choice. Another branch on anthropology that deals with the material remain of the past and present cultural systems. Well reasoned. Archaeology is the correct choice. What is the field of anthropology devoted to describing and understanding the wide variety of human cultures? Smart move. Cultural anthropology is an accurate answer. What is the branch of linguistic anthropology that involves dissecting a language and analyzing its features? Good job. Descriptive linguistics works well here. Also looks at prehistoric times. Paleontologists study fossils to learn what the world was like long ago. Solid response. Paleontology is a valid choice. What is the term for the systematic study of human remains to understand past populations and their lifestyles? Smart pick. Biological anthropology is the correct choice. Which of the anthropological subfields most prepares a student with the skills for success in the 21st century? You got it. Your choice, cultural anthropology, is right. It is the study of culture through the interpretation of the meaning of symbols, values, and beliefs in society. Nicely done. Symbolic anthropology is a solid answer. What is the branch of anthropology that studies the relationship between human societies and their environments? Excellent choice. Cultural ecology is the right answer. If you were interested in languages, their origin and development, which branch of anthropology would you study? Right again. Linguistics is a valid answer. Its goal is to discover what makes people different from each other in order to understand and preserve diversity. You're right. Anthropology is the correct answer.
What is the branch of anthropology that focuses on the study of human remains and their biological characteristics?
Clear logic? Your choice biological anthropology is sound.
This is concerned with the specific intent of yielding practical applications for human behavior and organizations.
Bravo! Applied sociology is the answer.
The scientific study of the origins and behavior, as well as the physical, social, and cultural development of humans. Nice selection. Anthropology is the correct and valid answer.
Which subfield of anthropology involves the excavation and analysis of material remains left by past human societies? You chose archaeology, and it is correct.
Which subfield of anthropology studies the cultural beliefs, practices, and social institutions of different societies?
Good thinking. Cultural anthropology is the right answer. Choose the correct option.
On track. Archaeological anthropology is the correct answer.
Which field of anthropology is primarily interested in the prehistory and early history of societies and their cultures?
Right choice. Archaeology is the best answer. Which subfield of anthropology focuses on the study of human biological diversity and the evolution of the human species? Strong choice. Physical anthropology is the right answer. It is an academic discipline that deals with the study of government and political processes, institutions, and behaviors. Valid point. Political science is true. What is the branch of linguistic anthropology that studies the relationship between language and social cultural contexts? Right again. Sociolinguistics is a valid answer. This theory is basically materialistic. It assumes that the systems of producing material goods influences and shapes society. Excellent choice. Marxist anthropology is the right answer. It focuses on the discovery of theoretical tools, methods, and techniques to scientifically explain a particular sociological issue. You chose sociological theory and research, and it is correct.
The study of groups and their behavior.
Clear logic. Your choice sociology is sound.
Applied anthropologists who use their anthropological knowledge in their places of employment are most accurately called anthropologists.
Nice work. You chose practicing, and it is correct.
The branch of anthropology that studies human biology, both past and present, including human evolution and contemporary biological variability.
On track. Physical anthropology is the correct answer. The key factors in and determinants of sociocultural evolution are the infrastructures that include technology, environment, and material conditions. Great job. Cultural materialism is the accurate answer. The study of the origin, behavior, and development of humans is well picked. Anthropology is the correct answer.
The analysis of differences in skeletal remains to determine identity is
Sharp thinking. Forensic anthropology is the right choice.
The anthropological analysis of human biological and cultural remains for legal purposes.
Good thinking. Forensic anthropology is the right answer. Which field of anthropology is primarily concerned with the non-cultural aspects of humans and near humans? Yeah. Exactly. Biological anthropology makes sense. how you will get all these quiz questions in PDF books format? Good job. Contact Narayan Chengda works well here.